listening to LOA Recon with the Good Vibe coach Jeanette Ma, where we dissect the ins and outs and the art and science of conscious creation, all intended to amp up your manifesting game. Let's have some fun together. Hey, thanks for tuning in for another episode. I had a couple of questions I wanted to run by you today about your alignment practice. I'm talking about what you're doing to become a vibrational match to your desire. And maybe you call it something else. Maybe you call it your manifesting exercise or your vibration management plan or your alignment process. But whatever you call it, I'm talking about what you're doing as a conscious creator to become a vibrational match to what you want. And it could be a wide variety of things. I'm not so interested in what you're doing as much as I'm interested in whether what you're doing is serving you, because sometimes we engage the same process for so long that it loses its juice and we don't even realize it. We're just like on autopilot doing the same thing. Like, Pray Rain journaling. The way I was taught it was that you write a page a day about what you want as if you already had it. By the time you get to the end of your journal, you will either have it or it will be so close you can reach out and touch it. Sometimes that process works really well and sometimes it doesn't. I blindly practiced it because oh my gosh, well, you know why I did, right? The very first entry I made manifested. So I was a huge believer in Pray Rain journals right off the bat. That's because writing things down for me is crazy powerful. It's a super reliable process until there comes a point at which it doesn't work for me. It's not actually moving the dial. That's why I think it's worth evaluating whether our process is serving us really well or not. So let's go through these 3 questions. The first one is, are you even doing it? Do you even have an alignment practice? Are you actually doing anything as a conscious creator to manage your vibration? That's a fair question because there are plenty of people who study this law of attraction stuff without ever implementing anything that they learn. Obviously, that doesn't do us any good. Sure, it's cool to know this, but what good is it if we don't ever practice it? My entire practice, all the work that I do, is designed to help conscious creators embrace their manifesting powers. I'm not out there converting the masses. I'm not educating muggles, or at least that's not where I'm directing my work. I'm talking to conscious creators, not to educate, not to inform, but to inspire to practice. So I hope there aren't too many people who've been listening to me for a while anyway who could say, yeah, I'm not doing anything, actually, now that you mention it. But you know what? I won't be surprised and no shame if that's the case, because I get a lot of emails from people who will say, I've been reading you a while, Jeanette, or listened to you for a while, really like your stuff. Here's my situation. And they'll say what they want and then why it's not working, what they're getting instead. And when I write back, my first question is often, so what are you doing? What are you doing to align? How are you working your magic? And they don't have an answer. I even get hired by people who, in our first session, I'll be like, so tell me about your practice. And they don't have one. That can solve a lot of problems. Or it can, I don't want to say solve problems because I don't think it's a problem. All that contrast is serving us. It's not a bad thing, but it can get things moving really quickly, really swiftly when you get a really effective alignment process in place. So that's my first question. Do you even have one? Second, if you have a plan or a process, are you working it regularly? And if you're not, I think it's worth asking why. Is it because you maybe some people, they don't know what to do. Actually, what do you mean by alignment practice? I don't even know what you're talking about. Maybe I'll make another episode strictly for that. I've got blog posts on it, and lots of cool articles about different techniques we could use, but it doesn't have to be a traditional or a conventional manifesting exercise, like something from Ask and It Is Given on their 22 process list. It could be a wide, remember Red Ferrari guy? His alignment plan was activating freedom by sleeping naked and finger painting with his toddler and not wearing underwear to work. That was a very effective plan for him. So your plan could look like, you might even have one that you're working regularly, but you don't call it that, so you don't recognize it. Like I have a very low bar for myself where I just ask myself to do one thing a day and then I call it good. That's it. Just one thing a day. And I like to start my day with it. So my day gets started on the right vibrational foot. And then if some point during the day I notice that I've gotten sideways, if I've gotten vibrationally kinky, or if like gremlins are starting to get out of control, or if I've got tolerations that are building up, if I notice the energy is going sideways on me, then I'll use that as my cue to engage one of my many tools to redirect and get plugged back in. I'm not 100% good at that by any means, but that's my intention. So I start the day with my plan, and it's just one thing. It's not even like it's maybe a 60-second thing. It doesn't take long, but that's all I ask myself to do. I'm a slacker manifester. Some people like to work really hard. And when I say they like to work really hard, it doesn't feel really hard to them. It feels like they're really wrapping their arms around something that they're having fun with. But I know, my business partner, once upon a time, she used a very effective plan. It was very effective for her, where she had a 30-minute process that she engaged twice a day, morning and night, with her husband. And it consisted of 3 different things that she did for 10 minutes each. She had so much success with it that I got inspired to follow suit. That just doesn't work for me. And I even knew, I was like, I'm not going to be able to do 30 minutes twice a day. So I did it for, instead of 10 minutes each, I did 3 minutes each. So it was like, it was just a handful of minutes twice a day. It wasn't a full half hour, and still it was too much work for me. I've just, from my own experience, I have noticed that a light touch goes a long way. But having said that, it's not like that's the only aligning thing I do all day. I actually have a lot of what could be considered alignment practices that take place throughout the day. Any time that I revel in appreciation, any time that I'm eliminating a toleration, any time that I'm choosing what feels better, you could technically consider that an alignment practice. But really, the way I think of mine is just that one thing that I start the day with, and then I call it good. I'm off the hook for anything else. And that works for me, because working too hard is not my idea of a good time. And again, I know other people can have much more involved plans and not experience that as hard. They experience that as inspiring and very effective. So it's worth knowing yourself really well, so you're playing to your strengths. You're really setting yourself up for best success. And that's what these questions, I hope, will help you identify. You know, what happened to me when we started the new year, I got really excited about the new year, fresh, clean slate. And I thought, I want a new practice to go with it. And so even though I'd really enjoyed the same alignment practice I'd been using very effectively for over 2 years, which super surprised me, because I'm a girl who likes a lot of variety. I don't know if I've ever gotten through a whole Pray Rain journal with joy. Once I realized, oh my gosh, I've got to stop following the rules about how they told me to do this. I've got to do it in a way that feels best, because that's the practice that works best. It's the one that feels best. So I stopped finishing my journals. And I can feel the click. And I don't do them every day. I just do them most days. And then I can tell, once I've nailed it, once I've got the click with it, if I'm halfway through the journal, or a third of the way, or 2/3 of the way, I don't know how far I'll be, but once I get that click, then I know I'm done. If I do any more, it's overkill. It's like eating too much dessert. You know how, this happened to me the other night. Someone made brownies and gave me a little square, and it was a little square, and I was like, I think I could have more than that. They were fresh, and they were gooey. They were so good. Oh my gosh, I got a lot of brownie on my plate, but I wasn't afraid. So I was enjoying the brownie, enjoying. And then I had one bite left, and I knew I was done with my enjoyment of that brownie, but there was just one bite left. And I was like, one bite, I could finish this. I should not have. I mean, it didn't spoil the whole thing, but you know how you can tell when you're good. It's the same with your alignment practice. Anyway, so I'm a girl who usually likes a lot of variety, but here I've been rolling with the same practice for so long that when we got into the new year, I was like, I'm changing up my practice. New year, new practice. And I did. I changed it up. I played with a couple of different things. And over several weeks, what I discovered was that nothing gave me the same juice that my old practice did. So I went back to it. And then the other day I was looking at some of the sticky notes on my computer. Actually, I think I did a podcast or a blog post about that recently. And I was looking at those because you know how sometimes the things that you write, the affirmations or the words that you're programming yourself with to manage your vibrations, sometimes those notes become invisible or the words fall flat. And that can be because we've adopted them. We grew into them. We acclimated to them. And now it's time to make a bigger stretch. or bigger reach, or sometimes it's just because we never really truly clicked with them. I'm just saying it's worth checking in on whatever we're playing with so we can make sure we are getting the most bang for our buck. So that's our first question in this alignment audit is, do you have a plan and are you working it? And if you aren't working it, I would invite you to ask yourself why. Is it because you don't know what to do or you're forgetting to do it? That's happened to me before. I get a great idea, but then it takes me a while to get in the habit of it. Or sometimes it's because it's just too involved or too complicated to actually enjoy. That has also happened to me when I tried to follow my fellow conscious creator's suit with that 30-minute twice-a-day practice. Or it might be that you're just busy with other life stuff and you never get around to it. I think it's helpful to know why you're not engaging it so you can resolve that successfully. And if you don't have an alignment practice, that's your first step. Get one in place. Come back to this episode in a couple months after you've been working with your plan a while to run yourself through this audit to make sure it's still serving you. And if you do have a practice that you engage regularly, I just want to say, yay for you. Congratulations. You're light years ahead of many already. Okay, my second question in this alignment audit is, do you look forward to it? Are you delighted to engage this alignment plan of yours? If you're just going through the motions for the sake of saying that you did it, then you're missing the point. It took me a while to learn that. In fact, I was doing manifesting exercises for a couple of years before I heard Abraham say, the point of these exercises isn't to do the exercises and make things happen. And I was like, Abraham, why in the world, why else would we be doing it if not to make things happen? They said, the reason we do this is to feel better. And if your process isn't making you feel better, it isn't working. So if you can get through a whole Pray Rain journal entry, or if you don't look forward to it, if you're like, it's the end of your day and like, oh, I got to go make that entry. If it feels like that, if you're not looking forward to it, it isn't going to serve you. You'd be better off playing with something else, something that you are excited to pick up. I know some people that it is. Look, it happened to me too. I hear someone have an amazing success with something. I'm like, what did you do? Because I want to try it too. And I have had a ton of success with processes I was just playing around with. I was just experimenting with, doing it for fun. But that's why, isn't it? Just doing it for fun, not to make something happen with that agenda of manipulation instead of enjoyment. That should be our agenda if we're going to have one, to enjoy ourselves. So if you're not looking forward to your plan, it's time for a new plan. Okay, my third question in the alignment audit is it moving your dial? Is your alignment process actually making a vibrational difference in how you feel? I'm talking about after you've completed your process. Has it shifted your vibration? Because remember, the point of doing our alignment exercises, it's not to make things happen, it's to feel better. And if it's not doing that, it's time to switch it up. So like after you've made the other question is, do you look forward to your Pray Rain journal entry or whatever your exercise is? I'm just using Pray Rain journaling as an example. But this question is, okay, so after you've done it, can you feel the vibrational shift? If you can get through that whole entry and feel as flat or as bored as you did when you started, then it's not moving your dial. And it's time for a new plan. If you can get through your affirmation, or if you can complete your visualization and you still feel the same as when you started it, unless you started it feeling amazing, but even if you did, the point of these is for us to feel better. So, in fact, Joe Dispenza, he tells people, he recommends, oh boy, I think it's a really involved, I was like, I just was shaking my head at Joe Dispenza's process. I love Joe Dispenza's work. Love, love, love it. I think it was in his Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself book. The second half of the book, he's talking about, the first half, he's making the case for why this works. The second half is like what to do. I think I could be remembering wrong. It's been a long time since I read it, but I think I remember, I'm pretty sure it was that book, that the process he shared was so intense. It was so crazy. I was like, there is no way. I couldn't even finish reading the book, let alone actually try the process. I'm thinking about my parents saying, you don't know if you don't like it until you try it. You know, when mom serves something new at the dinner table, look, maybe maybe it's true. Maybe if I followed his instructions, I would love it. But my inner guidance did not have any joy for trying it. And I'll just go where the joy is. There's too many things that are joyful to spend time trying to make something that isn't automatically joyful be an enjoyable process. So, what was I saying? Joe Dispenza, he talks about how he uses a meditation process. That's where I got hung up. I'm like, I can't even describe his process properly because it's so involved. I actually stopped reading the book. I was like, there is no way I'm going to get through all of this. But I do remember he has a YouTube clip where he's talking about how his daughter wanted to manifest something. And what he tells people is go into your meditation and don't come out of it. Don't come back until you're a different person. Come back a different person. That's a sign you've moved the dial, right? If you feel differently after engaging the meditation process or whatever it is he wants people to do, if you feel different afterwards, it is moving your dial. Obviously, different good, not different bad. So I think it's important for us to be honest about whether we're getting good juice from our manifesting exercise, because sometimes we love it at first, so we keep doing it, but it just grows stale over time. So watch out for that. And that doesn't mean anything other than that we'd benefit from some variety. Some people do. They need to switch things up regularly. And again, that's cool because it doesn't matter what we do. It only matters how we feel. So if the way we feel best is by doing a different process every day, that could be your plan. Some people have all the different manifesting exercises like written on scraps of paper in a bowl, and they just pick one out each day, and that's what they play with. That's their plan. That could be fun too. But some other people benefit really well from getting consistency in with the same practice day after day after day. I've heard that about meditation, actually, that you can condition yourself by doing it at the same time in the same place. That's not something I have experienced personally, but what you're shooting for here is a process that helps you feel now how you would feel then when you have what you want, or at least some kind of better. If your process isn't doing that for you, then something else is going to be worth engaging. So maybe it's worth talking about how to know whether your alignment process is moving your dial. I think you know what I mean by that, but I'll elaborate just a little bit. If, as a result of completing your alignment process, you feel more inspired, or more confident, or more expectant, like you believe in it more, or more delighted or hopeful or satisfied or anything along those lines, then it's working. Keep doing it. In fact, I think we could say that Abraham's advice applies here about, when people ask, what should I be eating for optimal health? What should I be eating? Sometimes they'll ask that of Abraham, and Abraham's like, it doesn't matter what you eat. What matters is how you feel when you eat it. That includes the thoughts that we think about it. So they say, if you can enjoy it before, during, and after, then it's good for you. That's all we could eat whatever we wanted as long as we could feel good about it and enjoy it before, during, and after. That means if we're making ourselves eat vegetables that we don't like, oh my gosh, if you're not enjoying it, it's not good for you. Or if you're making yourself, if you're trying to convince yourself that you can eat whatever you think might be bad for you, say brownies, for example. If you're enjoying the brownie while you're eating it, but then you feel bad afterwards, like guilty or remorseful because you think, or maybe just physically sick. Some people can't handle that much chocolate. I can not only handle it, I love it. Anyway, the key is to feel good before, during, and after. And what I'm saying is that rule from Abraham for our food can also apply to our process. Although I don't like to think of it as a rule, more as like a guideline or advice, that if you look forward to engaging it, and if you enjoy the process of doing it, and if you feel fabulous afterwards, if it has moved your vibrational dial, maybe you feel fabulous might be a big target for some. If you feel any sort of relief, that can be a sign too that it's moving your dial, then you're good to go. That's what I would say about it. So that's my alignment audit. Here's a couple of things that it doesn't matter about your alignment practice. Some things matter, some things don't matter. This is my short list of what doesn't matter about it. It doesn't matter what anyone else thinks of it. They don't know what moves your dial. They can't tell you what's going to work well for you. I love getting inspiration from others. I'll love to try it out, but I'm the ultimate authority. And it also doesn't matter whether anyone else is doing it the way you are. It's fine to hack whatever you've learned, including the way I finally learned to hack Pray Rain journaling. Don't do it every day. Just do it most days. That's what works way better for me. You don't have to get to the very end of your journal. Even just stopping when you feel the click. That works for me. It might not work for anyone else, but it sure does for me. It also doesn't matter how long your process takes. You don't get extra points because you're spending a bunch of time on it unless you enjoy that. It doesn't matter how long you've been at it, like how many days in a row or weeks in a row. It doesn't matter how hard it is. We don't get points for working hard or suffering. It's actually the opposite. If it's not enjoyable, it's not serving you as well as it could. It also doesn't matter what your exercise is, like what you do. It only matters how you feel. So, like I said, it could be one of those conventional processes from ask and it is given. Or, I made the periodic table of manifesting a long time ago. But I think I have got an article at Good Vibe University on manifesting methods. I got a variety of those. That's a different episode. Maybe I'll record that one later. But it doesn't matter what we do, whether it's a traditional exercise or just something we engage, like the guy finger painting with his toddler, or me going on a dog walk, or feeding, I can't call them orphan kittens. Their mom's down there in the room, but I've got one that's not growing as fast as the other two. I'm not going to call him a runt. He's just a little smaller, and he's getting some supplemental feeding from me. And that's high joy. You know, me having kittens, I have thought before, I probably have a draft post on this, like my secret manifesting weapon is fostering kittens. Oh my gosh, I'm not myself if I don't have kittens. I know this because I lived with a boyfriend for a while who really did not appreciate my fostering activities. So I cut back on them as much as I could, but I could tell when it had been a while since I had kittens. I didn't feel like myself. To not serve in this way, it wasn't my idea of right. I wasn't right. So me having kittens, it's not what I think of as my alignment plan, but I know very well it serves my business, it serves my health, it serves my relationships. It's good for my bank account. It's good for me across the board whenever I do what I love. And certainly fostering kittens is one of those things. Walking the dogs, eating brownies, all part of my alignment plan. Okay, anyway, what was I trying to say here? With these things in mind, I'm just inviting you to take a look at your current practice and see if you've got any room for improvement, because even minor tweaks can have a big impact on what you're getting out of the time you invest in aligning to what you want. Actually, GVU members, we have a course on this in the archives. It's creating your custom alignment plan. It actually gets emailed to you. If you haven't seen it yet, you will soon, or email me and I'll send you the links to it. And I do have other posts on alignment practices, but maybe I'll do an episode on how you like the actual activities to do that. I don't know how short I can make that. I'll see about it. I hope you enjoyed this one though, which is brought to us by 3383 Boo, who left me a fabulous review on iTunes that reads, "This podcast is like a good friend. When my vibration is low, I'm like, I need to go chat with Jeanette, and she always gets me back to my best self." Thank you, 3383 Boo, for the fabulous review. Thanks to everyone else for listening. I hope you enjoyed it. Happy manifesting, everyone.